All right, here we go. We are live. So live, you can hear me live. All right, so first thing we have here is we have 8 to being divided into 39. Now you can't take a group of 8 away from the 3. You just can't. It's too small. So what you have to do now is look at 8 into 39. So you want to grab your multiplication table, if you have one, to see how many times you can divide into 39. And that's our first. So we have daddy or does or well, I'm writing on this. So the first one is dirty monkeys smell bad. So 8 goes into 39. So 8 times what gets me really close to 39 without going over? Who can help me out here? How many 8s?
Wait.
Well, let's do this. 8 times 5 is 40. Isn't that too big?
Yeah, so 8 times
4.
4.
So if we 8 times 4. So I'm going to write as small as I can. Don't know if I can. So 8 times 4 I know is 32. Okay. So I'm going to do a 32. Subtract. So I multiplied 8 times 4. That's the second step. Multiply, right? And then I'm going to subtract, which is serve. Does McDonald's serve? Or daddy, mommy. I'm on sister right now. That's 9 minus 2 is 7. And 3 minus 2.
Can we do this in the notebooks?
Yes, please do your work in your notebooks because it's going to be hard to do it on the screen. I would do all your work in your notebook. In fact, what I want you to do is take a picture of your notebook today. Do that instead. All right, now I got to bring down the 2. So that's 72. Now I can use my multiplication table again, and I can say, okay, 8 times what gets me to 72? Anybody got a table or know this one?
Oh, it's 9.
9. So
that's it.
If you know your multiplication table or you look at the table, you can follow 8 times 9 is 72. So I see. Yep.
I have a question. I normally do it in my notebook and then put the answer like in a box on Seesaw. Is that okay?
You can do that too. Yeah, that's fine.
Mr. Nelson, what's the second number after the 3? It says minus 3 and then the second
number. That's a 2, 32. You could always do 4 times 8 and know that's 32, just to double check. So the answer for that one is 49, okay? All right, and I would put a 0 underneath the 72, but I've run out of space because my Screencastify thing is there. So the next one, we have 3 into 18, and I want to go over this one because it's a tricky one, okay? And you're like, well, I don't see, it doesn't look tricky, Mr. Nelson, but it is, trust me. So 3 cannot go into 1. You can't take a group of 3 away from 1, but 3 can go into 18. So your question is, 3 times what number gives me to 18? 3 times. So 3 times 6. So I'll put a 6 right above the 8 because I'm dividing into 18. I'm not dividing into 1. You have to be very careful to also make sure that you have your number directly above the number. So 3 times 18 is 3 times 6 is 18. So I'm going to subtract and I get 0. Now I bring down the other 0. Now this is the tricky part. I bring down the other 0. Now if you bring a number down, you must try to divide. Now you got to say, okay, can 3 go into 0? And you're like, no, it can't. But you have to actually divide it. And if it doesn't go in, you actually have to write a 0 up here. If you cannot do it, you can write a 0. This also goes for remainders, like if there was a 2 there. So now the answer is 60. And we can check our answer. We can go 3 times 0 is 0. And 3 times 6 is 18. So we have 180. So we could check our answer. That's how you check your answers, by the way. If you got it right, if you do 3 times the answer, that will give you the dividend. So we know that 3 times 6 is 18. And we add a 0 because we know our shortcut method, right? With zeros. Or we could do 3 times 0 is 0 and 3 times 6 is 18. And there you go. So either one. So just be really careful when you're doing that. If you do have a 0 and you bring it down, you have to try to divide, okay? That's a rule. All right, so I'm going to stop screen sharing right now. So hopefully you guys got those 2